Good day and welcome to another exciting episode of Trendz Travel. I'm your host for today, Nadia Damboza. Today we are coming to you from the Melrose Gallery. We begin our adventures with a road trip to the Kruger National Park, where we had a truly South African safari experience. We have that and so much more, so stay tuned. Coming up next on Trendz Travel this week, much needed downtime at the Kruger National Park. We visit the Rovers Rail Museum. A gastronomical affair in preparation for the annual Good Food and Wine Show. And finally, a carefully structured house of cards. All this and more coming right up. The Kruger National Park, where nearly 2 million hectares of unrivaled diversity of life forms fuses with historical, cultural, creative and archaeological sites. The world-renowned Kruger National Park offers a wildlife experience that ranks with the best in Africa. It covers an area of 19,485 square kilometers in the provinces of Limpopo and Mpumalanga in the northeastern South Africa. The administrative headquarters are in Skukuza. Skukuza is the largest rest camp in South Africa and also the largest rest camp in the Kruger National Park. It is situated on the southern banks of the Sabi River in Mpumalanga province and is the most popular and accessible camp and one of the best for game viewing. In the vicinity of the camp, all of the African Big Five can be found, as well as other recognizable and exciting animals. And it is the ultimate vacation spot for peace, recuperation and serenity. A custodian of nature for the people of South Africa, the park is constantly seeking to engage the public on how it can better serve the surrounding communities and visitors from near and far. Some new and innovative ideas is new conferencing facilities, and we sat down with Glenn Phillips, who told us a bit more.
Every 10 years, we review the park management plan of all our national parks. This year is the Kruger National Park's turn to review their plan. And basically, the key issue here, and it's according to legislation, is stakeholder involvement in determining the desired state for the park over the next 10 years. So what do the public want from Kruger National Park? What must it represent from the public's view? That input that we get gets incorporated into the development of all the plans that we have for the next 10 years. We had incredible turnout from the public along the periphery of the park, so through our local forums, between 100 and as much as 400 people in a room, giving input into what the people around the park see and what we need to do in the park. We then went through to all the major city centres, because majority of our tourists come from the major city centres. And being that 80% of our visitor base is domestic market, we wanted to make sure we got the tourism input as well. And sadly, those were very badly attended, which was very sad for me, considering a lot of people use social media to give comments and tell us what they like and what they don't like. But the turnout was very poor. In some cases, 7 people, 8 people. So it's a costly affair for us to do this, but we went through it anyway. And we've taken that input now, and I think the key issues that have come out, which is from around the park specifically, were 3 key issues. The one was the issue of communication from the park, better communication back into communities about what we're doing and following up on the plans that we are rolling out, we will roll out over the next 10 years. The second issue was the issue of damage causing animals, and how we address that issue and how we work with communities to address that issue. And that's when an elephant breaks out of the park and damages crops, or lions get out and like we recently had in the south of the park, and then kill livestock, that type of thing. We have a program for that, but that was one of the key concerns. And the last one was about services from the park into communities, but not only from the park, but of course local municipalities and the services they deliver. So road networks and that type of thing, because they deliver the tourists. The roads that's coming to the park are the access for the tourists. So those are the key issues from the communities. And then from the other input we received from those other sessions from a tourism perspective, concerns were around the numbers of tourists in the park. People becoming concerned, the south of the park becoming very congested in terms of numbers, and that we have to work with. So the whole visitor management side was a key issue. And then, of course, other issues around animal offtakes, scientific issues, and that type of thing that came out. Because, once we've got the plan, we need to start rolling that out. And we want people to take ownership together with us, because it's the people's plan, it's not just our plan. We got funding from government to build this centre we're in now, this conference centre, and that came at a time where we accepted the money because there was a demand for conferencing, and however we didn't have the comment that when people book a conference, there's never enough accommodation because Kukuza does so well. We run to over 80% occupancy. So essentially the decision was made to develop a safari lodge here in Kukuza to service the conference centre, and that's what the lodge development is that's happening here at the moment. We are doing it on all the best green principles, and we want to make a statement in terms of green building principles, and the plan in front of you basically is a detail of what we're doing there. And starting from the base was firstly identifying all the trees. Firstly, this was an old staff accommodation area here, so it was no there were only, I think there were a few huts that we removed, old huts that were here. The rest was then the old staff accommodation was moved out. All the key trees that have got historic and heritage value were kept, and they are all marked, and they will form part of the development and part of the design. Particularly 2 baobabs that were planted by Stevenson Hamilton when he was still here. So we've incorporated into the lodge design. They're these 2 little dots over here. And so the development is an inward-facing development, and the idea is that noise will stay inside. So there's not the idea where you sit on a balcony and you have a view out. You're going to face internal, and it's meant for conferencing mainly. So people are there to come and do a conference and do work, not have a holiday. However, if we haven't got a conference booked, closer to the time we'll release the accommodation to the general public, of course.
Interviews and formalities finally behind us, we were eager to go out again and experience even more of Africa's wildlife at its best. With luck and the right conditions, one can have good sightings on any of Kruger's roads. However, the best birding is usually on roads that traverse a diversity of habitats and include stretches of riverine and forestry. And although there are never any guarantees in birding, these recommended routes offer chances of good sightings. A quiet and serene environment to unwind, spend quality time with friends and family, and just soak in nature. An exciting opportunity and an absolute must for those with the spirit of adventure is a Kruger Park night game drive. Experience the sounds of the African bush with bright stars in the Kruger night sky above you and a great range of spectacular African wildlife around you.
No, wait. Let's take our time.
And Lady Luck was on our side as we got to bask in the beauty of one of nature's most beautiful but very shy animals, the leopard. All in all, the Kruger consistently provides magical experiences and quiet memories that will last you a lifetime and should definitely be on every South African's bucket list.
Much more excitement coming up just after the break.
we live with this threat of violence. This is a strange and weird thing, if you come to think of it. So we don't live in a society, which is where the question is. We want to live in a society where we trust that we will not be violated.
A man abducted her from a taxi rank in Baragwanath.
He would have taken me and killed me. He would have shot me while I was running, you know. But none of those things happened. And, you know, even if I didn't believe in God, like, this is a real miracle.
How does the police unit of family violence follow new crime trends?
Station crime intelligence will from time to time present the crime pattern analysis and the crime threat analysis. We respond to those.
For all investigative insights, stay tuned to Special Assignment every Saturday at 17:30.
One of the oldest forms of romantic transportation has its own museum, where one of our producers, Eloise, got a history lesson.
Good day, Trendz. I'm Eloise Scoble, and today I'm going to be taking you on quite an adventure, starting here at the Robus Rail in Pretoria, which is one of the most luxurious trains in all the world. So join us as we take a look. Good day.
Yo, hi there.
Hi there.
Welcome. I've got some sparkling wine, orange juice, and some apple juice.
I'll take some sparkling wine.
Excellent.
Here we go.
Here we go. Please.
Okay, and so what do we have here?
All right, this is our seating in area. We do have a coffee station there at the back and some tea as well. And we do have the outside area where you can go sit, enjoy the view, the smoking section. And lastly, that's our restrooms just right on the side.
Okay, and I do understand you have a museum on site.
Definitely, we do have a museum. And just from the entrance, you'll be able to see the South African flag. Just about 5 minutes walk. It's not very far from here.
Great, I think we'll do that.
Please, enjoy.
Thank you.
Excellent.
The railway station itself is already a sight to behold and offers gracious colonial-style buildings and serves as the departure and arrival point for all train journeys. In the departure lounge, guests are offered champagne and hearty snacks as they await to embark, starting this luxury experience off in true indulgence. While one waits, there is a view of the steam train as it hisses its steam, getting ready for the journey ahead. And as a bonus, if you are a rail enthusiast, you will be drawn to the vast carriage and locomotive sheds where teams of dedicated personnel keep the rolling stock in perfect order. The workshop of 10,000 square meters straddles 15 railway lines with concrete inspection pits below and is the ultimate repair and maintenance facility for any train operation. This is the busy hub of provisioning operation, which rivals that of world-class hotel in terms of efficiency and attention to detail. The property also boasts an on-site railway museum. It is intended that with time, this facility should become the foremost working train museum in the world.
Yeah, I worked for South African Railways for many years as a steam driver. So I drive some locomotives from Rowanforth. Then 2001, he must have his own drivers. So he asked me I must come and work for him. So he worked for me from 2001. As a steam driver. And I go on pension 5 years ago. And after a year, phoned me, now you must come back and build up this museum for me. So I'm the curator now. He has lots of things. Planes, trains, cars, so there's enough stuff to look like. We got a steam locomotive, the one was built in 1893. Still in 100% condition. Was built in Scotland. So we got a lot of locomotives also.
Okay, so I'm here to telling me earlier about the founder, Rohan Rovers, and exactly how Rovers Rail got its name.
You see, the company is Rovers Rail. So that's his name, Rohan. So he take the first two letters and they put it, to make it Rovers Rail.
So that's how it came out, Rovers
That's where
Rail.
it started, yeah.
That is very interesting, and there he is.
Yeah.
Young Mr. Rohan Vos.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, now this one right here, Trendz, is an exact replica of the train station we're at today. And if you look carefully, you'll see me somewhere down in there. There is quite a rich history and backstory to Rovos Rail, and as so often happens, it was a combination of influences and events that led to what is today called the Pride of Africa. In 1985, Rowan and Anthea Vos took up a last-minute invitation on a Magaliesburg train trip. That same year, influenced by a friend's love of trains and the work done by the Railway Preservation Society in Witbank, Rowan attended an auction to buy a coach or two. The intention was to restore 4 carriages and hitch them to a South African Railways train as a family caravan. In short, the idea of running a vintage train as a business venture was born when the tariff quoted by authorities for hauling the train was extremely high. Consisting of a locomotive and 7 carriages, the train was launched on 29 April 1989, and with 4 paying passengers, friends and press, they set off for the Eastern Transvaal. So with a 4-night low-felt experience and in 1991 the Pretoria to Cape Town run, the business began to find direction. Before the train departs, Rowan Vos addresses guests and welcomes them personally aboard his dream turned reality.
Please remember, we are never on time. But meals will be most important, and drinks definitely all on time.
And then we are off to one of a series of epic journeys across South Africa.
A group of artists in the southern English coastal town of Brighton are taking their works off the gallery wall and offering them to the public via an unusual channel through a vending machine. The machine, located in a club in the center of the city, offers prospective buyers limited edition prints from emerging artists for prices ranging from £20 to £50. Much like the cans of drinks that normally inhabit such machines, the prints are delivered to buyers rolled up in a tin. Buyers can select their choice after browsing a menu of the pictures inside affixed to the machine.
It's quite a good concept, I think, because it takes away, sometimes art can feel like a bit pretentious or a bit unattainable, but if it's in a vending machine it kind of strips that all away and you're just literally choosing the picture because you like it, because of nothing else. This is just really, really tiny pens. Pen and ink illustrations is what I mainly do. But I also tend to do like murals for like local pubs and bars in Brighton.
Please choose the desired product. Please wait for confirmation.
I
think it's a great idea. I think it does bring art to a market of people like me who really appreciate it. I mean, I definitely appreciate having things on my wall, and I like to have more things on my wall, but who aren't necessarily going to be able to go to a gallery and purchase something there.
You could get a brand new machine, but it might be a bit like... there was a video that went viral about a guy in Berlin who was putting USB sticks into walls with his art on them, and then you could go plug your computer into the wall and download the art. And we thought that was a great idea, and I was in my studio talking with a couple of friends about how you could do something very similar to that, and how you could commercialize it in some way and make art more accessible to a larger audience in an interesting space outside of a gallery setting. And my friend owns a pub and has a vending machine in that pub, so we went and asked him, can we use the vending machine? And then in 6 weeks we put on this show with 40 artists and sold prints out of this vending machine. Family used to organise their Christmas and birthday presents. The idea is to do pop-up shows and then progress into having permanent machines in kind of high footfall areas, and combine that with doing pop-up shows. So having in an airport or a train station or at the end of Brighton Pier.
And I guess it's breaking down a lot of boundaries. It's changing the way people think about buying art, I guess. I wanted to create something that looked kind of ancient and transcendental. I just quite like the contrast of something like that coming out of a vending machine, which I guess is kind of a symbol of consumerism.
If I was able to see the design of the poster before I bought it, yeah, that would be quite a good way of actually buying artwork that you might not normally buy.
It's something different that doesn't happen in other places, in other countries. It's new. Yeah.
I think art can be anything these days, and it's just a matter of taste. I personally wouldn't do it. I wouldn't sell my art through a vending machine, but
We have so much more for you coming up just after the break.
When I was passing the casino, I said, that edge came, said, I'll just try, you never know. You might go home with 80,000, times 4 the amount that you have. And that stupid day, I lost all my money.
Never allow glamorous lifestyles to push you beyond your means.
The awakening moment was that 2007 when I left my children alone. I realized this is hurting me.
Ask for professional help if gambling is controlling you. Know when to stop.
I faced reality that, you know what, for you there's no quick reach, so you just have to work hard. So it's gone.
For all your uplifting stories, catch Bophelong every Friday at 17:30.
Africa is constantly getting new technologies, and with that comes new terms.
Massive, open, online university. And primarily what they are doing is they're established in the community, so they're well established within the Soweto community.
Internet of Things also covers small sensors, so you can do like home security, motion detectors, IP cameras.
Our network will simplify these terms for you. We also have new gadgets and social media.
When it falls on the grounds and then the battery, everything falls off, people just put it all together and then your phone is back in shape.
The Valega app, we initially started off by doing this manually.
The internet is actually my favorite fashion invention of all time.
That's Network with Ms. Pumelele Zondi every Sunday at 9 p.m. on SABC News.
An arena that hosts over 60,000 visitors, giving attendees an exhibition area of the best market, street food, gourmet, and all wellness and lifestyle trends.
2017 Good Food and Wine Show. I mean, it's been an amazing journey. We just did Cape Town. We had people lining up. I had people lining up a half an hour before my show started because I'm teaching them how to make ice cream from scratch. The Good Food and Wine Show, I've been with the show for 11 years. Each and every year, each and every show, there's something bigger, there's something better and tastier. I mean, they bring me on board so I can teach guys at home how to take stuff you see, lovely magazines. No, I'll teach you how to do those things at home. All you do is come to the show, literally sit down, drink copious amounts of wine, Good Food and Wine Show, and just have fun.
We have about 40 to 50% new exhibitors at the show. So there's quite a bit of food, quite a bit of drink, quite a bit of product and technology that you might not have seen yet. Definitely not the Good Food and Wine Show. And we've got a variety of fantastic chefs. I mean, Marco Pierre White is amazing. He was great in Cape Town. Everyone loved him. And then our local chefs. And I think it's all about the experience for the visitors. There's a lot of interaction with the chefs and a lot of fun and a lot of learning at the same time.
With top chefs in attendance to share their experiences from their culinary journey and tips on how you can save food.
The whole team behind the Good Food and Wine Show are trying to inject so much new energy and change into the show, and it's working really well. There's a great buzz around it, and this year the focus is particularly on food waste, which I think is so exciting. There's so much more that we can be aware of and be participating in around that.
I think globally food waste is an issue. There's a lot of, water is one thing. I come from Cape Town, so water is one thing where we're trying to save water. But food, the chefs cook with different food every day. Obviously, you and I in our homes, I'm not a chef, but I do waste food, sorry to say. And I don't know, not because I'm careless, but because I just don't know what to do with all the leftover that I have. And we want to educate the public and tell them that this is what you can do with whether it's leftover parts of the chicken, you can make a chicken soup, or it's leftovers from the bananas or tomatoes, etc., etc. So I think it's important in today's times, a lot of people that go hungry and a lot of food being wasted, and I think people just need to be more conscious of how much food they're purchasing and what they're using and how they can use it. So that's why we went with the theme of food waste.
The breakfast buffet that was served was re-envisioned by the chefs as new and exciting dishes to encourage the public to reuse their food.
I used old breakfast croissants, and I made cinnamon French toast, and then I had a bacon and orange jam, and I created a beautiful stack of French toast, caramelized bananas, bacon jam, yogurt, maple syrup, and then on the side I made a really healthy power smoothie using the ends of broccoli and the ends of cucumber and cauliflower and some fruit from the buffet, and then I added in ginger and lime for a nice extra health kick, and some mint as well. So I think generally it's been positive. They're loving that that it's different. Previously, it was kind of very regimented and very structured, and if you wanted to go to the open theatre, it was separate tickets that were an extra expense. Now they've completely taken away the curtains. The theatre is an open theatre. You can stand and watch Marco Pierre White in action at no extra cost, which is incredible. Although get there early if you actually want to sit down, because him and Jan, they really sold out fast.
The Good Food and Wine Show is currently underway at the Ticket Prodome. If you don't make your way there, tune in next week when we will be showing you what went down.
6 old-fashioned skiffs interrupted the sleepy pace of life on a stretch of the River Thames on Monday, July 17th, as teams embarked on the annual upping, a combined census and health visit for swans. The upping sees 3 teams, one representing Queen Elizabeth and one each representing the old trade associations of the vintners and dyers livery companies, patrol for the river for 5 days and capture, tag and then release any families of swans with young. The upping dates back to the 12th century, when swans were an important food source. David Barber, the swan marker on Queen's Crew, told us.
How do you decide who gets what?
5.8. The event is in part about pomp and ceremony. Swan markers cruise down the river, ancient standards fluttering from the back of their vessels in gold-trimmed blazers and naval-style picked caps, topped off with a swan feather in the brim. But the modern upping is also about conservation. The uppers assist injured young swans, most often by removing fishing lines that the birds have become tangled in. They also monitor the population of the young birds, which has declined sharply in recent years. Last year, the uppers tagged 72 on the stretch of the river between Sunbury and Abington. The year before, they found 83 and 120 the year before that.
Well, it's swan upping, and it dates right back to the 12th century, when, of course, swans then were very important food. Of course, today swans are no longer eaten, and the journey of swan upping now is a 5-day journey. We travel in 6 traditional rowing skiffs. Each family of swans we come across, we will take them out of the water, we will put the skiffs around them, we will take them out of the water, we weigh them, we measure them, and we check them for any injuries. Quite a common injury would be fishing tackle, and we de-tackle quite a lot of young cygnets.
Natural predators, dog attacks, egg theft and nest vandalism are among factors responsible for the decline. To catch the birds, the crews encircle a family against the riverbank, moving closer until the swans can be plucked out of the water by hand.
It's tradition, it's a part of British history. We work for Her Majesty the Queen, and people have uniforms, so we're in uniforms, in the Queen uniform. It's just, that's what it is. Yes, I've been doing it for 24 years. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's absolutely a marvellous week. But what I really like, swan upping is all about conservation and education. And education is very important to us, because we have many schools come along during the week. They're usually primary age group, and we teach them a little bit about swans, the boats we use, how we deal with the river, the ecological side of the swans. wonderful, and they love it.
They are then weighed, measured and checked for injuries. Aside from some irritated grunting, the 10 or so birds being caught and inspected on Monday showed little sign of distress. The uppers themselves are something of a celebrity presence on the river, with crowds of mostly elderly spectators flocking to see them pass by. After the break, we look at a skillful and very patient card builder. Stay with us.
We're talking news, business, and sporting updates both continentally and abroad. South Africa is in its first economic recession since 2009.
Currency has appreciated quite a lot, especially for this year. And it has benefited from a number of things, not so much to do with what was happening here at home.
The Islamic State-linked news agency AMAC claims the latest attack was launched because of Australia's backing in the US fight against the group.
Constad is one of the dozens of women who have accused Cosby of sexual assault, but hers is the only case recent enough to be subjected to criminal prosecution.
Stay tuned to News Today at 3 p.m. from Monday to Friday on SABC News.
Today on Rights and Recourse, we will unpack the new traditional court mode.
The idea of the bill is not to over-regulate. To basically set the principles.
The most important aspect of this bill is that it understands that customary law by its nature is consensual, that I have a right to affiliate, I have a right therefore to opt in, and I have a right to opt out.
The opt-out provision is basically one that you've got to respect the court in the sense of if you've been summoned, you've got to tell the clerk of the court at least that you're not willing to attend.
The challenge that I would like to throw to the Department of Justice, it has to come up with mechanisms of ensuring that people who exercise their right to opt out or to opt in are not in any way victimized.
Hashtag Rights with Dumila Mates on legal issues every Sunday at 2 o'clock Central African Time.
Hours to build, seconds to destroy. Ahmed Hassan Rafai is fixated on making buildings out of playing cards. He dreams of opening a museum to put his intricate, fragile constructions on display. The Egyptian law student does not just make card houses, he makes palaces and churches, some of which take days to construct.
بحب كده بصراحة جدا، يعني أنا بحب الموضوع جدا. أنا بحب
الاشكال الهندسيه شويه. بحب الكوتشينه، بحب الفن، فحاولت ان انا اجيب رابط ممكن يربط بينهم، فكان ده الرابط.
20-year-old Rafai has been pursuing his hobby for 10 years and hopes to win a Guinness World Record, something that would bring him one step closer to opening a museum, which he hopes to build out of cards.
هو أنا أكبر نموذج عملته كان اسمه كنيسة لوسندا، ده كان معمول للطفلة اللي توفت في التفجيرات. ده كان أخد مني 100 ساعة بسبب تفاصيله والحاجات الصغيرة جدا اللي كانت فيه، كانت صعبة جدا إن هي تتوضح، فخد مني وقت طويل جدا في التفاصيل. كان هو يعتبر أكبر حاجة، هو يعتبر خد كل الكروت اللي كانت معايا كمان. ده كان 100 ساعة بالظبط. طبعا هو بيبدأ من مثلا 5 ساعات اللي ممكن يعدي مثلا أيام. اللي انا بعمله ده مالوش علاقه، ان انا بعمله ده من 10 سنين، فهو انا بحبه يعني. سواء كنت دخلت حقوق او كنت دخلت هندسه او كنت دخلت اي مجال تاني كنت هفضل معاه. انا حابب ان انا اخد جينيس. في ناس قالت ان انا الجينيس بالنسبه لي هدف، بس هي مش هدف. انا شايف ان الجينيس بالنسبه لي خطوه بالناحيه ان انا اعمل معرض كبير ان شاء الله. بفكر ان انا ان شاء الله في الخطه العشريه ان انا ممكن اعمل متحف في مصر بيبقى من الكوتشينه. شفت فكره اتعملت في الصين، كانت متحف من ورق الكرتون. المتحف ده دخل كبير جدا للصين، واتعمل بعدها في تركيا. فانا لو اتعمل المتحف زي ده في مصر، ده هيبقى تقريبا اول متحف يتعمل بالكوتشينه في العالم كله، مش في مصر بس.
Rafai has produced monuments from Capitol Hill in Washington to the Renaissance churches of Europe. His largest creation is the Church of Losanda, named after a child killed in the recent bombings that targeted Christians in Egypt, which took 100 hours to build.
Olamide Babajide goes out to the streets of Lagos to shopping for old tires, a key component for her furniture products. Babajide is the founder of Pearl Recycling, a company that transforms recyclables like car tires, magazines, straws, plastics and wood, among other things, into household items. The company offers money in exchange for recyclable garbage. Pearl Recycling was set up in 2014 with $5,000 that Babajide won through an entrepreneurship program. The computer engineering graduate says she was drawn to recycling while on a trip to the United Arab Emirates, where she came across art pieces made from maize stalks that sold for hundreds of dollars. With a population of about 21 million, Lagos generates up to 10,000 metric tons of waste per day, according to the Lagos State Waste Management Authority.
Over time, I noticed that waste is a general problem. Waste management is a problem in Nigeria that we've not been able to find a solution. Most times we see government coming up with sanctions, threats and penalties, but it's not working. So I felt the best way to make it work is to find a solution where people can make money out of waste or turn waste to something good. So that was what brought the idea, the vision for Pearl Recycling.
The company employs 3 staff members and has trained about 20 people to make both functional and ornamental pieces. It takes about 45 minutes to make a poof out of recycled tires. Her products cost anything from 5,000 naira, $16 to 20,000 naira, $65. The government is pushing people to find innovative ways of making money as the oil-rich country continues to face a recession due to low global oil prices, making it difficult for entrepreneurs to run their businesses. Olamide says that although the recycling sector is relatively small in the country, it has the potential to lift many people out of poverty. With about 7 orders in a month, Olamide makes about $3,286 a year. She has also exhibited her work in parts of Africa and the Middle East.
Basic challenge is still fund, because we need funds to produce, we need funds to get machines. Most of the things we do are manual, except maybe for the drilling machine and all that. We still need machines for cutting, for other tasks. It's capital intensive, but we've been able to find a way around it manually. But we believe that if we have funds, we can achieve more.
Tolulopa Akinwunmi, an accountant and interior designer, says she came across Pearl Recycling a few years ago on the internet and has been buying their products ever since.
How are you doing today?
Awesome. And you?
I'm good.
You're welcome.
So, I brought my tire today.
Exactly.
Can I have this? Okay, can I have this?
Yes.
I would love to see this. Okay. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm here to pick one for a client who are doing an interior for, and for a while the furnitures are durable. They're beautiful. They are unique, compared to what you can see in the regular market.
Babajide plans to open stores in other cities, providing practical furniture while contributing towards efforts to protect the environment.
Designed for British summer and inspired by the airy coming feeling of a tree, the work of Burkinabe architect Francis Guerre stands on the lawns of London's Serpentine Gallery. This pavilion is the first by an architect from an African continent and one of the highest honors for any career in design. Visitors are surprised to see that the trunk is bright blue. Guerre explains that the indigo blue is the color for special celebrations back in his home country, Burkina Faso, and fitting of this particular occasion.
I choose blue. Blue is something meaningful to me in my country. Indigo blue is a natural color that we could get, and that is the color for people to, when you go to a big celebration, that is what you wear. And I wanted to dress with my best color. Being awarded to do the Serpentine Pavilion is the highest commission in my career, and I wanted just to come and show me with my best clothes, and that is blue.
Each year the Serpentine selects an architect who has never built anything in England to take on the high-profile job of creating a temporary structure that fits with the surroundings and is highly original. For this work, Guerre says he chose the tree as a symbol of community, a place where people gather together. The roof or canopy turns golden in the sunlight.
The roof is very inspired by the canopy of the tree, using a wooden structure stained again in a gold. Gold is so important. So let's say yellow but gold. I wanted it to be warm. I wanted the light to go through and shine over that blue and over the people that will use it. So to create a shelter, a sort of shelter that protect you without closing you off from the outside world.
Kerry first came to public attention when he won the Aga Khan Award for Architecture in 2004 for the wooden primary school he built in his home village in Gando in the southern Burkina Faso. Throughout his career, Kerry has chosen to use the most simple and natural materials, making his name by finding affordable solutions to difficult architectural challenges.
To use wood for me to do this pavilion is the most sustainable way to deal with material. First, we are in the park, the Royal Park. You have a lot of trees, and a park breathes better with wood. That is what I wanted to do, because the wood is somehow a traditional building material everywhere across the world, even in Africa. And here, in specific here, I treated this wood to give it a long life. So after this temporary event here at Serpentine, it's meant to have a longer life, to have a life after Serpentine. The structure is supported by steel structure on the top, like I will do in Burkina Faso. So it is a sustainable, strong structure that will have a life after Serpentine, and there is already a lot of people fighting to get it.
Kerry trained in Berlin and now runs his practice there. He has worked all over the world, notably China and Germany, and on several projects in Mali. He says he hopes the impact of the London Tree Pavilion would be to inspire more architects across Africa's nations to have confidence in their abilities and aim high.
Give them a chance, give them a chance. You will see there is a lot of designer having the big desire to express, to use architecture as a catalyst to inspire people, to push people to believe in themselves. I came from Gando, a very little village in Burkina Faso, and now I have the chance to design at the Serpentine. So design can be learned. You can study, and it gives you a chance to express yourself. There is no limitation. If you give young people like me a chance, they will contribute to design, to architecture.
The pavilion will remain in Kensington Gardens, the home of Serpentine Gallery, until October, before it is sold and taken down to be rebuilt in another location.
And that's all we have for you on today's show. Join us again next week, same time, same place. From the hard-working Trendz travel team, see you next week.